My name is Mindy Lavelle, and thank you for joining us for Life, Leadership, and Legacy, an opportunity to listen, learn, and be inspired by some of our Valley's greatest leaders. Today, I have John Horstmann with me, a true and personal role model, mentor, and somebody I've admired for decades. John grew up in Fresno, a native Fresno, and he is a graduate of Fresno State, where he graduated in 1958 with a degree in marketing. I've heard him say oftentimes that one of his greatest accomplishments was meeting his wife there, Lolly, and soon having his two children, Kathy and John. John built his career with New York Life and worked hard in sales and marketing and has grown one of the most successful family businesses along with his children in our Central Valley. He's not only a successful businessman, but he is one of the most dedicated community leaders that we have. He has committed himself to an unwavering quest to strengthen Fresno State. He's not only the dog father, and I will let you explain that, John, as we get further into this conversation, but he has strengthened Fresno State by giving of his time, servicing students as mentors, contributing to the establishment of critical programming, both educational as well as extracurricular, and taken on numerous leadership roles to enhance student success. Not only is he a strong advocate of Fresno State, but he gives in many different areas of our community as well. One of those is on governing boards for our hospitals, where he's ensured that Fresno and our community continues to have good quality healthcare locally. John has given so much, and there's not a time in my life that I can remember him not giving. And I guess the first question I would have is, why? Why is philanthropy and giving back so important to you?
The reason that it is that you start out in business and you're working to build your business and have some success. Well, as the success goes on, you realize that you're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it because of other people involved. And you felt like all of a sudden you needed to get back. And then you find the choices of where you feel you can be do most meaningful work for the community. In my case, it was working with hospitals and the medical field, and then also just being able to continue helping the community.
Well, it's amazing to me how much you continue to do, and I think it's one of the questions that if the students are here, and unfortunately we're not able to have this as a live meeting today at Pay It Forward, but I'm sure that the students would be lining up asking you lots of questions about how do you stay committed and how do you build a lifetime of philanthropy, because there's not a day that goes by that you don't give of your heart and your time and your talent.
You have to believe in the organization. For example, that's why I've continued from the day that I graduated from Fresno State until now. I've kept involved because I believe in the university. I believe in what they're doing and the growth and what it means to the Valley, what it means to Fresno, and the whole success. And so therefore you feel you want to be involved in that success.
For sure. Well, you're definitely going to be remembered by a lot of students because they, even those that you sit next to at Pay It Forward, and thank you for attending those. You know, one of Fresno State's greatest missions is to prepare thoughtful, committed citizens to help our community at large, not only Fresno, but the Central Valley, grow and thrive and to meet some of the challenges that we face not only today, but we will face in the future. What do you think are the most important skills that the students should leave Fresno State with?
Probably one of the most is when you're leaving is to be committed to what you're going to go into. I think you have to look at whether it's what field you feel you've chosen, what you can do in that field to make a difference, not only in that field of education, but also what that education can do to help you in the community and provide for the community. And it's a two-way street, because if you do one, it's going to benefit both ways. Whether you benefit from the university or other parts of the community, working in the community is just very meaningful.
Well, sometimes I know that we can all work really hard on certain challenges and yet not really achieve those things that we hope to achieve. And sometimes we feel like giving up. But I don't remember a time that I know of that you ever just stopped. Can you tell me a little bit about a time that you felt like giving up, but you didn't?
Well, I think probably the biggest time on that is the giving up and didn't was when I went into the insurance business. I all of a sudden I decided that this may not be the business for me. I should be doing something else. And I basically went to myself and said, okay, what makes you think you're so darn smart that you can do anything else? And this is what kind of turned me around. And I guess I've carried that on through business, but I've carried it also in the philanthropy area. Where can I help, and where can I make a difference? And if I can't make a difference, then don't get involved.
Yeah, you know, I my biggest comments to our students when I have an opportunity to talk to them is just keep trying, because there's many ways to do different things. And if you can collaborate with others, something that you do really well, usually you can find a way to move forward. We often get the question about family businesses and that they either work or they don't. Why has your family business worked well?
Because it is a family business. And I mean that because my wife, Lolly, she was my partner. And from day one, we worked together, and I ended up, my job was to sell and answer problems for people. Her job was basically to run the business, and she did. I mean, I found times that I wasn't even invited to the attorneys or the bank meetings because she took care of everything. And my position was to be involved in the community and in the business, and they go hand in hand.
You've mentored a number of students. I don't even know if you know that you've mentored them, because they've learned so much from you, and you give so much of yourself all the time to anybody that you meet. Um, how important is mentorship, and what can a mentor do to help a student, and how do you prepare yourself as a mentee to get the most out of being mentored?
I would, to be a mentor, I think that is, again, comes back to believing in what you're doing and you want to help somebody. From how you're going to help somebody, and dealing, for example, in a student, is to help advise them what their thought process is. What are they trying to accomplish? And how can they accomplish it? And I may be looking at it from one spectrum, and they can be looking at it a different way. And so you try to help them understand what you've gone through and how to be successful, whether it's an involvement in the community or in your own business, but then how they in turn can do the same.
The business school has changed over the years, and it's doing some marvelous things in reaching out to the community. Do our students have the skills that you think that will be able to land them good positions staying in the Central Valley?
If the student wants that, yes. But the Fresno State has all the facilities, and the Valley has other facilities that they can get involved in. I think you have to be believe in what you're doing, and whether it's your education or involvement in the community, they go hand in hand. In my case, they did, and I believed in Fresno State. I believed in the professors. They didn't always
Yeah.
believe in me, but I believed in them. So.
Well, I agree. I think that we have marvelous students. We have great faculty. I think that it is absolutely what makes this community's future bright. And hopefully develop leadership, that's hopefully our students can develop leadership skills similar to the ones that you have possessed and you have used and relied on throughout your career. What do you think is the most valuable lesson that you've learned, leadership lesson?
I would have to say listen. A lot of times you learn a lot more just by listening, because a lot of times your advice may not be prudent in what they're trying to accomplish. So you need to listen and help them, and in turn they help you. I found that looking back that a lot of people that helped me in my business were there right from the beginning, and you relied on them, and then you get involved in the community. You find leaders that you can rely on and you can talk to and you can go to. And I think the students today realize that they can go to an awful lot of people that have been successful in areas that they want to be. And all they have to do is ask or go to them.
Yeah, I think that's something very unique about our community, and not only our community, but Fresno State. I think the collaboration between the two is what makes our community strong, and how it will thrive in the future. Is there what is your greatest passion?
My greatest passion?
Yeah.
My family. My family's my greatest passion. That includes the dog too.
Of course. Now tell me about this love for dogs. Okay, you have a dog at home and you have a dog at Fresno State. Well, you're the godfather.
Yeah,
the godfather.
No, the dogs are very important to me. Not as important as my family, but Shelby is a second.
I think Shelby's right up there.
She's up there pretty high, but not to the top. The top comes back to John and Kathy and the grandchildren and this. I mean, I think there's so much that you can help in success, and it isn't a case of telling them, it's a case of just working with them and working through the process.
One of it's so fun because I do laugh about that bulldog, because that bulldog brings so much joy everywhere it goes on campus. And for our listeners, it's thanks to John and his wife Lolly and family that we have this wonderful sponsorship of this great smile-worthy puppy on campus. It's a lot of fun. And one other thing that I think is really unique about you, John, is that since you've lived in Fresno all of your life, you've been able to keep lifelong friends. It's seeing what a treasure that is too, and building upon those friendships over the years has inspired me personally. One last question I'd love to ask you, John, is, since I have known you my entire life, because you are a lifelong friend of my father, Claude LaValle, I would absolutely love to hear about what you two talk about when you get together. I mean, you guys have shared a lifetime of living in the same community, working together, laughing together. Could you share some of those stories with us?
Absolutely. I look back when I started kindergarten at Heaton School, and in the class, and it's interesting because in that class were a lot of students of different areas and different parts of Fresno, and yet we all went our own ways to junior high and high school. That whole group has stayed together, and there's probably 15 or 20 of us that have always stayed close, including Claude and I and some others, doctors, dentists, attorneys, you name it, they're all in this group. And we always said you couldn't afford to leave the group because we knew so much about each other that you just wouldn't take that chance of having it come out into public. Yeah. So we've had this close relationship, and I think it's second to none. I do not know of any other group that is held as close as we have through junior high school, grammar school, junior high, high school, and on and even into college. Even in college, we went to different schools, but the friendship has always been there, and it's still there. This longtime friends that I have from Heaton School, I cherish, and I feel they feel the same way.
And that is something unique that not many people can say they have. I mean, in today's world with people moving around as much as they have, staying that committed and connected to people that you knew in your kindergarten class, that's what I think that's referred to is your kindergarten class, is something unique and special and actually not shared by very many.
Well, you mentioned the kindergarten class, and then we come back to your father, Claude. Claude and I go back and we have so many stories. You wouldn't dare separate your friendship because we know so much about each other that it would be if it ever hit the press, we both look bad. So we wouldn't want that to happen, even though we went through all the schools locally. Claude went on to Stanford, and I was here at the Fresno State. We maintained that friendship with Betty Lou, his wife, and my wife, Lolly, and the whole family. And it's just been a close friendship that I cherish and always will cherish.
Well, and I guess I would even add to that the Horsmans and Laval's feel very much like family to me. So it's right back at you. It's really a gift, and I appreciate you. I really would love to hear some of those stories that nobody else should hear one day, but maybe in due time, I can get you and Claude together and our families, and we can share some more of those stories from the past. But thank you so much.
It would have to be an awfully good reason for us to tell all these stories.
I don't know. I don't know. It might be too shocking to your family. Anyway, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.